A motion by Helmut.
Welcome to Minutes by Minute. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
And we're here to talk about what goes on in the village, the township, you know, those government people that make laws and regulations that affect you out there.
That's right, Elgin. And whether you live in the village of Oxford, the village of Leonard, Addison Township, or Oxford Township, these are the people that you went and elected, and the committees and the commissions that make decisions that directly affect you, whether you chose to go to that meeting or not. And the result can be a taxing
Situation.
thank you.
You're welcome. And you know what else happens? There's humor. And every meeting that I've ever attended, there's some humor. Sometimes buried deep, sometimes at the top. But we dig it out, don't we?
Yes, the stuff at the top is like the cream. It's the
Right.
good stuff.
The other thing is that this is the abbreviated form of the meeting at Minutes by Minute. We do in roughly 15 minutes to 20 minutes what takes them 3 hours to do as officials of the government.
That's true. But if you choose, and you may, to listen to the entire meeting, which could go as long as 3 hours in some cases, you
Or
can go
5.
to our website, occtv.org, and everything in there, you click on programs, everything in there is in reverse date order. As a matter of fact, they have a drop-down menu that will let you folk tunnel in on that particular township or that particular village or whatever other category there is there and see only that. So it's waiting for you.
Are we through tunneling now?
We're through tunneling.
Okay, very good. Now let's get on with a couple of the meetings that occurred last week. One of them is the Village of Oxford Downtown Development Meeting. The
DDA.
Yes, the DDA. And that was held on June 17th.
Ah,
So it was called to order, a Pledge of Allegiance. We're going to move along on this one rather quickly. The people that serve on this board are Nicole Ellsworth, Dorothy Johnston, Pete Schultz, who is the chairperson, Sue Oles, Elgin Nichols, Rod Charles, who was absent, by the way, and Joe Frost, who is also the president of the Village Council, and Michelle Klein, who is also absent at this particular meeting.
oh,
So that then they present the public comments on non-agenda items. Nobody.
Dead
Nobody wanted to
silence.
speak. Silence. People looking at their shoes. You know, see who has them shine, who doesn't. Nobody was there to check it.
Heads
so
are
who
down.
knows? Huh?
heads are down.
Heads are down. Yes, right. No eye contact because there are no eyes there to look. Right.
Nobody here.
Yeah, it was a rather silent meeting. Consent agenda was the first item, consisting of approval of proposed agenda and approval of the May 20th, 2019 regular meeting minutes and reports consisting of the police report, code enforcement report, DPW report, which is the Department of Public Works.
By the way, you said that. Were you implying that there was a special meeting?
No, this wasn't a special meeting. This is a regular meeting.
I know, but the way you said regular implied something.
It did? Okay. I think you're reading into something that really isn't there. And that can happen, you know. So, because one of us kind of spreads a rumor.
That's the old poem. As
What
I was
poem?
going up the stair, I saw a man who wasn't there. He wasn't there again today. I wish the heck he'd go away.
Well, he's back again, folks.
Right.
Right. So anyway, what do we have next? Oh, Executive Director's Report and Revenue Expense Report also on financial statements. Of course, they all received and filed. Payment of bills. Bills for June 2019 in the amount of, you ready for this?
Oh boy.
$26,450. Round figure.
I suspect that might go up in 2020.
It very much might. And why would that be?
MDOT.
Right, MDOT, the road construction thing that's going to be running right through the village of Oxford.
And
Anyway.
right through the budget.
Yeah, and actually, what's interesting is that we do, with the DDA, have an appropriation of funds. And we also, you know, for signage, for merchandising, advertising, all kinds of things to promote you folks in the village, you know, as businesses.
As you get routed around town going north.
Yeah, and I think we're going to route them around town and then right back to your back parking lot. I think that's the way it's going to work. Pretty sure.
You got to go north to go south?
With no way to get out.
Ooh.
Great opportunity for you folks to stay put. they'll be there sooner or later, mostly sooner. Anyway, by the way, being you mentioned the road construction, you know it's going to begin in March
March.
of 2020.
Well, you were more generic last time, but you said spring.
Right.
Now it's March.
It's going to begin in March, and it'll extend to roughly around November
Yikes.
2020. So be prepared. You'll see signage. You'll see routing to the various businesses out there, and easy shortcuts.
You'll go down
No
scenic.
shortcuts.
Well, you'll go down scenic Drainer Road and scenic Glassby Street and scenic Ray Road.
They're very scenic areas, by the way, as you will learn. Except for the traffic. Could be a little problem with the heavy traffic. through
Well, as it tapers down from 2 lanes to 1 lane, we'll see about that.
there. Yeah.
I'm sure it will all go smoothly.
Have you ever gone through a road construction like that?
Are you kidding? Have you gone anywhere in Michigan?
Can you say pothole?
Can you say
That's a-
anywhere in Michigan with orange barrels? Where did all those orange barrels come from?
I think they come with I'm going to fix those darn roads.
Yep. Well, they're doing it all over the place, all at once.
That's pretty easy to do. You just raise taxes. Pump more money into it. That'll work.
Yeah. Well, they did a nice job on Indianwood and Lake Orion.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, that's good. But somebody's overseeing it.
What does that mean?
Just read into it. You'll catch on.
What, you out there bothering them again?
Yeah. Don't spread the rumor yet.
Okay.
Unfinished business, old business. On M24, we did have a discussion which Pete Schultz gave an overview of everything that's going to happen. And if you missed that, by the way, you can go to occtv.org.
Well, thank
and
you
check
for that.
meeting.
I'll do that.
You have easy access. It should work well for you.
I update it.
Yeah, I know. Okay, let me see what came up next. Oh, new business. Farmers Market. Remember we talked about it last time?
Yeah, where's it going to be?
That is the question. I said, where's it going to be?
And?
And they said, I don't know.
Oh,
And there was a discussion involved where,
used to be in a back lot in downtown Oxford, but
yeah,
now
I guess
don't.
there's not the space there for it.
Okay, so has anyone stepped forward and said, no, put it here?
No, they're all looking at their shoes.
I see.
Nobody wants to step on it at all. But anyway, there are some issues, of course, that were discussed. One is if you have it,
Will they
farmers
come?
market. Oh, they'll come. More likely they'll come, and they may leave trash, on the parking area wherever it's at or around the surrounding area. And if they use the trash bins like they did before when it was here, they use the space that was paid for and allocated by the businesses in that area. So,
Oh.
not a good thing. So that
So
needs to be worked out.
it put a crimp on their style.
Also is required is insurance, of course,
Right.
liability insurance, if they're going to do it. Who's going to lead the pack? In other words, there needs to be an individual, that one person that the village can talk to, to make things happen.
I
to
heard
correct
a
things.
totally unfounded rumor a while ago that it might be out here at Parks and Rec, but I don't know.
Well, no, that's what they would like to have happen. Ron Davis has discussed, who was the director of the Seymour Lakes Park, and he suggested that they would have one here at some point. He doesn't believe he can do it this year, but would like to build a building, I believe, to house.
Oh, wow. Kind of like the one that's up on 69.
Yeah, very much like that, I think. But again, at this point, he just established a rumor. It's coming, folks, according to him. So
And the rumors are flying tonight.
they are. But it'll be a good thing, I think, for the area. And I think, the suggestion here was for DDA to get with the Seymour Lake Parks, Ron Davis, and discuss the issue. Maybe they could have a shared agreement.
Oh.
If they could find a location in Oxford, maybe it's something that Ron Davis' group can provide support for, or other way around.
Isn't there like an empty lot just north of Oxford?
There is. That's Dave Weckels, and we'll get back and we'll talk about that.
Oh,
Right.
really?
Yes, right after this.
I had a premonition.
You did. Welcome back to Minutes by Minute. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
And we are talking about the farmer's market proposal. And the way this one ended up is suggested and agreed upon that it would go to the village council for additional discussion. There's a lot of small details required, you know, and before any could be established. You mentioned, you know, where's it going to be? Who's going to be there in charge? Who's going to be? Oh, I said that, didn't I?
Yeah.
I keep hearing these little echoes come back.
Deja vu.
Right. So anyway, that was pretty much the gist of the DDA meeting, and moved through it rather quickly. And I think P. Schultz hit some kind of new record in that the meeting was shorter than most.
Oh,
So it
wow.
worked out well. Village of Oxford Planning Commission is the next subject on June 18th. Gary Douglas serves on that board as a chair. Rose Bama, who was absent for this particular meeting but was excused. Jack Curtis, who of course with the township also as a trustee, serves on the board. Kelsey Cook, Maureen Helmuth, Justin Ballard, and Leslie Pilak.
Bilac?
Pilak.
Is it a P or a B?
P,
P, okay.
as in Pilak.
As in Bilac.
Okay. And also Terry Onika, who is the clerk, village
Okay.
clerk, was there as well doing the recording. They did the pledge. The agenda for June 18th, 2019 was approved with no changes. And the minutes for June 4th, 2019 were approved. Correspondence, no correspondence. Public hearings.
They don't call, they don't write.
Where are they? I don't know. Somewhere's out there, hiding behind the trees. Correspondence, none. Public hearings, none. Boy, this meeting's almost over, isn't it?
Why do I think that that's not quite the case?
Right again. Okay. Old business, Village Ridge condominiums, site review.
Village Ridge, where's that?
I knew you were going to ask that. It's near.
Waterstone?
Yeah. It's near that street. You know the street?
Market Street?
No.
You sucked me into that, didn't you?
It's near Burdick Street.
Oh,
somewhere.
Burdick Street.
Yeah, Burdick.
Okay.
Okay. And I'll tell you how I know that as we move along here. Burdick Street people apparently near this condo association, they are using parking pad for their use rather than the association that's involved with the Village Ridge. So we'll talk about that a little bit further.
These are residents that are using,
Yeah, and that came up, an individual, a resident.
is this a new set of buildings or an extension of something else that exists?
It's going to be an extension. It's a fairly new subdivision, but they're going to add 3 new buildings, I believe,
Okay.
which will consist of, there's 5 property plats there right now, and they're going to build 3 new buildings
Okay.
for a total of 7 new units. So, does that make sense?
Sure.
Okay. I don't want to lose you along the way here.
No, but
Okay. Let me see. Mario Ortega is a consultant planner for the village, and he was there and he explained the whole history behind this thing. By the way, there was a lawsuit apparently at one point, sometime around 1999, I think, in that period of time.
Oh.
Somewhere. This is strictly a guess.
but dealing with this particular set of condos? So they've been around
Right.
for a while.
Yeah, because at that time, there's a question about setbacks in a disagreement. And because it was, the plats apparently have been broken up. You know, it was made into 5 plats from the piece of property, so it was split. And during that process, they didn't meet the ordinance requirements in terms of setbacks. So the village said, no, can't do it. So they apparently caused a lawsuit to move forward. And they said it could be done, but they need a variance in order to work with the setbacks.
Did they get it?
Yeah, they did get it. So that was a real issue a number of years ago. So Condo Lane is also a problem, which is the main street,
What?
through the condo development.
Conda. Conda?
Yeah, Condo Lane,
All right.
Condo Lane,
No, it's Conda.
condo. You know where it's at? Speak up, son. Condo.
Yeah, it's just after you go through the valley and back up the road into downtown Oxford.
That's what you do, yes, okay.
You sure it's condo, not condo?
Yeah, it says condo. It's
Oh.
condo.
Okay.
You want to contest that?
No.
Take it to court?
No.
Okay. I'll change its name to Smith Drive or something. I don't know. But anyway, the problem is that, is it going to be a public street? In which case, the village will take over, like snow removal and things like that.
Condo
Or-
Lane?
Yeah,
That just goes into the set of condos, right?
right. But right
Okay.
now, under the association, they own half of that road.
So how do you make that transition?
Well, the association has to make a vote on it. They have to move forward with it. Either say the
So,
village is taking responsibility for it.
so then they
Or
have
they're
to have a
gonna keep
special
it.
assessment district?
That was the thing that came up, is that it could be an SAD.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I think Jack Curtis suggested that at a given point. But he said, this is one,
That's usually what happens anyhow.
right, he said, this is one area that needs to be cleared up. He said, before this thing can get approval. Only one thing, there's other things too.
But it's basically a dead-end street, isn't it?
No, I don't think it's dead end. It couldn't be a dead end because for safety, security, fire department, they need a turnabout around.
So they might have a cul-de-sac at the end.
They may. I
Okay.
didn't see the site plan, but I
Okay.
heard the discussion about
All
it.
right.
So, you're all ears, right?
I'm all ears.
Okay. We got this one earmarked. All right, coming up. The question was, do they want to maintain the condo lane? Or they want to return ownership to the village?
Return it?
Or give the ownership
Oh.
to the village, okay? And so Jack said that has to be cleared up, of course. And also, the setback issue is to be resolved also. I mean, they got a new site plan. And there's new buildings considered for the setbacks. 2015 action, well, that's when it was, 2015 action, do they want to have it reversed? Which is a question. And that had to be cleared up too, according to the consultant. So, and along came this other issue too, discussion about landscaping. 4 trees are gonna have to be removed. And the question was, well, can't they pull these trees out by the roots and move them and replace them later? The answer to that was, not very likely that'll happen.
As in, too expensive to do.
It would be very expensive to do. So we're assuming here that the developer prefers to just plant new trees at that point.
That's all right.
So anyway, landscaping, parking was another thing. Is space adequate enough, for parking? And driveway appears to be an issue because they went to the very minimum, which is 10 feet wide by 16 feet deep in their site plan.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't allow but maybe for about 2 automobiles to be parked there. And if you have company, they said, what if you have company? What are you going to do? I'll tell you what we're going to do when we come back.
But
right after this.
if 2 cars are parked on opposite sides of the street, will another car be able to go through?
Probably.
All night long.
Welcome back to Minutes by Minute. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
And we are talking about everything from setbacks to driveways to, places for visitors to park at the condo complex that is located for Village Ridge, right? Speak up, I didn't hear that one. Okay, yep, okay. Yep, okay. The yepper says yeah. So that's when the visiting parking thing kind of had a long-running conversation on who's going to park where and when. Now, the public got up and spoke, and a resident named Cheryl, and she lives in this association or this condo complex in building number 2. And she says she has serious parking concerns, that people from Burdick Street are using the asphalt pad. Well, the consultant said, here's the issue, or here's the situation with that, why they're allowed to do it. It was that property was allowed and transferred to the Burdick Street people in 1999.
That is to
So he
say,
gave up the rights of that property.
the
as an
condo
association.
association did.
Yep, they did.
Why would they do something like that?
Because they're good guys? I don't know.
Now they want it back.
Yeah, now they're thinking, hey, we could have used this space, but maybe they were considering that it wasn't going to be a large complex like it's turning into.
Was it a case of money being exchanged and property changed, or is it just an allowance?
Yes. No, I don't have the details on it, and they
Okay,
didn't
but I
discuss the
mean,
details.
It wasn't a case that they don't own the property anymore. They do own it, but they allowed parking to be done on it.
No, actually, when you turn over the rights of something like that, it's like transfer of property, according to the agreement or contract. So it really doesn't belong to the, I mean, they don't have, the association does not have the right to take over that property, according to the contract back in 1999.
Such as the wording.
Such is the wording, yep. So what was exchanged? I got to believe that there was something in exchange, if it was money or whatever other access was given to that
But
group
if
or
it was
what.
simply a note of permission, then they still own it, right?
They own the land under it, but the parking lot, they have the right to the parking lot. Burdick Street does. See what I'm saying? It's like a lease, but no payment on it through a handshake or an agreement.
Getting into gray areas here.
More like black areas, for sure.
You know what? You know who occupies gray areas?
Quicksand people.
Lawyers.
Oh, yeah, right. Well, it's profitable for them, I guess, to do that. Then there's another lady, she spoke, her name is Judy Vieper, and she said that the lighting was poor within this subdivision, and she was concerned about having better lighting. She said the first buildings that were constructed had lights that would turn on when it was just about dark, and but none of the new buildings have any of that ability.
Is it street lights or lights that are on the
They were on the
housings?
buildings
Oh, on the
themselves.
buildings, okay.
Yep. And Julie Halleck, she said that the lights on sensors on some buildings only, and that need to be corrected. And on these new buildings, they need to have lights on all of them. Otherwise, you don't want to be out after dark because you can't see your way around. Can you say,
Just like the old days.
now here's where the quicksand comes in.
Oh,
You want to step into the quicksand. Okay. So there's lots of,
suggestion.
yeah, overall, there's lots of concerns, about allowing this particular site plan to be approved. So what they agreed to do is have row engineers, which represent actually the township and also the village, under agreement, to look at the site plan, find out all the issues with it, and provide a summary of areas that need to be corrected before a site plan can be approved. You catch that?
How many new units were there?
There's going to be 3 new buildings, I believe.
With how many units in it?
It's going to have 7 new units.
3 buildings with 7 new
Yeah,
units?
7 new units. Yep. So that'll be it. And so it was agreed that Rowe Engineering would get this information and do the review. Now, the next issue is recreational marijuana. Discussion to opt out. Okay, they want to opt out for the marijuana.
The clock is running.
It is running. The draft ordinance by 2020 is what they need to do with the opt-out
By when?
by 2020, 1 year roughly.
I thought it was like August or something.
Well, no, that's, if you don't opt out, you gotta reply, you either opt out or opt in
Okay.
by September 1st.
Okay.
And if you don't do that by September 1st, automatically the state will start issuing permits for marijuana to be sold, distributed, grow, whatever needs to be done. There's actually 7 categories that are involved. Dispensing, transport, warehousing, all kinds of things.
Forewarned is forearmed.
Yep. So the main question came from Jack Curtis, and he said, what and where have to be answered? You know, what are they gonna do? Where is it gonna occur? You know, if it is allowed. So, good point. Also, schedule and date worksheet from Mario, they requested. For the proposal for the marijuana issue.
Okay.
So everybody will know on what page this thing is to be completed and by what time and so forth. So,
By August.
Okay, by August. No, September. No. So anyway, so he's going to take that by the tonsils and see what he can do with it. There actually was a representative from marijuana company, Mike Burkhart, it's called Nature's Relief Company, and it's out of Burton, and they're in the process of installing a number of growing areas, distribution points, and providing townships, villages with knowledge on exactly what they can do and what's happened in other communities concerning the marijuana issue. So it was gracious of them to come and provide that
Now that it's
information.
legalized, I can just see outfits like Philip Morris and all the other big cigarette companies.
I'm pretty sure they will.
Moving in on this stuff.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they will do
If
that.
there's a profit to be made.
Oh, yeah. No new business. Jack Curtis gave a quick overview of what the township has been doing. For example, the sewer and water tap increased from $3,500 to $5,000 for developers.
Wow.
For a tap fee for REU.
That's a big increase, isn't it?
It is, but it's actually lower than a lot of other communities. For example, some are like $10,000. Some are $12,000, and they go as high as $17,000.
Well, I guess they have to strike a balance between
Yeah.
encouraging new business and, you know, not taking a loss on the thing.
Yeah. The other thing that came up was Beaumont, the hospital.
Oh, yeah.
Jack Curtis said that it's coming, if it's going to come with a full,
Whoa. Beaumont?
yeah, Beaumont Hospital.
Oh, I thought it was McLaren.
No, it's going to be Beaumont, it looks like.
Okay.
And it's going to be, he'll know for sure if everything's going to go forward as they predicted with 117 beds or whatever by July 1st, which is right around the corner.
Okay.
So-
I got the McLaren thing.
Yep. Well, there's several hospitals that were in contention for this. One was Henry Ford that submitted a request, and apparently that one was declined.
Beaumont and McLaren.
And McLaren was the other one. So it looks like it's going to be Beaumont at
Now,
this
Beaumont
point.
already has some doctor's offices in downtown Oxford.
They do. So it'll fit in with what they have here. So that is it as far as the summary of the Village Oxford Planning Commission meeting held on June 18th, 2019. Now, next question is, what's coming up?
What's coming up?
Yep.
Well, we do have meetings. On July 9th, at 6 o'clock, the Addison Township Planning Commission will be meeting. Most of the time. But you should check.
Yes, definitely.
And at 6:30 that same day, the Village of Oxford Council will be meeting, and I'm sure they will. On 7/10 at 6:30, the Oxford Township Board will be meeting, Board of Trustees.
Yeah.
And on 7/11 at 7 o'clock, the Addison Township Zoning Board of Appeals. And as always, give them a call and be sure that, they are having that meeting.
Lots of stuff coming up. Yeah, I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
Catch you next time right here on Minutes by Minute.
See you then. Did you miss?
If you're interested in sponsoring a show for OCTV, please give us a call at 248-628-9658 and we'll air a promotional video for your local business.